Welcome to Men of Order. Tonight's problem is simple. You can't stick to a schedule. You start strong on Monday, and by Wednesday, you're off the rails. If that's you, type me in the comments. See, guys, I already know how this goes. Monday, it feels like you're off to a good start. Tuesday feels busy, but things are still possible. Wednesday hits, and now you're behind. And now your mind starts thinking, man, I can't keep anything going. I always mess this up. I guess I'm just not that disciplined. Maybe a schedule is not for me. And then what do you lose in the process? You lose your peace. It costs you your confidence. It takes away your energy at home. Because when you don't trust your own schedule, you stop trusting yourself. And if nothing changes, what happens? Next week, you do the exact same thing. Strong Monday, crash Wednesday. You feel guilt. You feel like, man, I gotta restart. This week just wasn't my week. And then you keep going through that same loop over and over and over again. Guys, I wanna let you know something. That kind of loop wears down even the best of men. So here's my promise for you tonight. By the end of tonight's session, you're going to have a schedule that can survive real life. Not a perfect schedule, a real schedule. A schedule that you can keep past Wednesday. Now, let me be clear who this is for. This is for providers. This is for men with jobs, men with families, men who people can count on. See, as a man, you don't get to quit. You don't get to disappear. So your time has to work. And I'm going to bring some men on camera tonight and help them leave tonight with a plan that works in real life. So cam up. I'm telling y'all right now, so you have time. I'm putting it out there early. I'm putting a link on the screen. I'm putting it in the comments section. Make sure that you join, have your camera on, sit somewhere quiet. Let me put this in here again. And if y'all are with me, make sure that you tap the like button. Today, we're talking about why your week falls apart by Wednesday. I'm putting a link in the comments section. I'm putting it on the screen. Make sure that you got your camera on, sit somewhere quiet, and come ready to set your real schedule in motion. Now, you know what we always do on the Men of Order sessions? We apply the order method to our life's problems. How do ordered men do things? Let's find out. Today, we're going to talk about how to apply order to our schedule, because for some reason, we can never keep our schedule going. By the time we get to the middle of the week, we feel like our week is already shot. We're not able to stick to a schedule anymore. And then we just lose all kind of order. Everything falls off the rails. So let's talk about O in the order method, okay? O is for outcome. By the end of tonight, you will have a simple way to plan your week with extra time built in. You will have a schedule that survives real life. You're going to have a midweek reset so that Wednesday doesn't break you. Because by Wednesday, that's when small delays start stacking up. That's when you start feeling more tired. And a tight plan can't recover. We're going to talk about what a tight plan means and why it's destroying your life. And you're also going to walk away with a 7-day plan that you can start tomorrow. If you do what I show you on tonight's session, you're going to feel a difference this week. Not in 6 months, not next week, this week. We're going to put it into practice. But let's get down to the root of the problem. Your schedule keeps breaking because your schedule is not built for real life. I'm going to say that again. Your schedule keeps breaking because it's not built for real life. Let's figure out what's really going on. Most men think the reason why they cannot follow a schedule is because they lack discipline. They say, I need more discipline. No, you don't. Most of the time, the root is this: you keep writing a week that requires perfect days. And you don't get perfect days in life. You get real days. Work runs longer than you expected sometimes. A kid gets sick. Sometimes you get stuck in traffic. A meeting pops up out of nowhere. It happens. This is life. And let's not forget, guys, you get tired. So if your schedule has no room for real life, it will break. This is the reason why you can't hold on to a schedule. A lot of people's schedule on paper looks like a fairy tale. Here are the main roots of the problem. I'm going to give you 4. And let's see if any one of these 4 roots explains why it's so hard to follow a schedule. Root number 1, your schedule is too tight. Here's what you're doing. You plan the day like every minute of the day will go according to plan. It's just a picture perfect day. You got stuff stacked up back to back. 8 a.m. meeting, 9 a.m. phone call, 10 a.m. I'm running errands, 11 o'clock I'm working on this project. At 12 o'clock I'm out to lunch. By 12:30 I'm working on the next thing. There's no space for reality. But it sure do look good on paper, doesn't it? And all the while, you're thinking, man, if I just pack my schedule and keep it tight, I'll finally catch up. If I just have enough discipline and I schedule more tasks, I'll get more done. But here's what that actually costs you. The very first delay that you have in your jam-packed schedule breaks everything. Now you're behind. Now you're rushing. Now you're angry. You're snapping at people. Now you're driving fast. Now your life is all out of order. You're checking the clock all day because you know that you're behind. And what happens if nothing changes with your approach? By the time that Wednesday comes around, you're already late on multiple things. So you start cutting corners. You cancel the gym. You skip the plan. You stay up late. You tell yourself, I'll just fix things next week. That's the first root, guys. What's the second root of the problem? No buffers. A buffer is simple. It's time that you set aside on purpose for delays, travel, breathing, transition from one thing to the next, cleaning, and life in general. The reason why your schedule breaks down is because you don't have enough buffers for your day. So here's what you're doing. You plan a schedule like you're a robot, but you're not a robot. You're a man. You need time to switch gears. You need time to drive. You need time to eat. You need time to cool down after work. But here's what you're thinking. Man, you know what? I don't need no buffer time. That's a waste of time. I need to make the most of my day. I'll just push through. I'm a grind. Here's what that costs you. You become the man who's always late. You're always rushed. You're always behind. You're always apologizing because your schedule is unrealistic. Even the best of men couldn't keep up. You're not a robot, you're a man. And when you jam pack an unrealistic schedule, you'll always feel like you cannot breathe. So, what happens if nothing changes? If you have no buffers in your schedule, your jam packed schedule becomes a pressure machine. Just nothing but pressure. 24 hours a day, pressure. From the time you get up to the time that you go to bed, pressure. And you start hating your own calendar. You dread looking at it. Type me if that's you guys. Let me know if you understand what I'm saying. Have you ever decided, you know what? This is going to be my year. This is going to be the year where I'm going to get everything done. I'm going to accomplish my goals. I'm not going to get in my own way. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write a schedule and I'm going to have that schedule down to the minute. This hour I'm doing this. This hour I'm doing that. And you are so hyped on day one. But by the time the schedule doesn't go the way you thought it would, by day three, now you're back to the same place that you were in before. Why? Because it's not sustainable. It's not real. I'm trying to get you to see better for you to have a real schedule for an imperfect life than for you to make a perfect schedule for a life that you'll never live. This is real talk, guys. I would rather you have an a real schedule for an imperfect life. No matter how motivated you are, life isn't perfect. Life is not fair. You can only do but so much to change life. You can try to wake up earlier and say, you know what? I'm going to set my schedule to start me off at 5 a.m. But you don't know what the future holds. So if you make your schedule so jam packed, the minute that you fall off in one area, you're already setting yourself up for failure. That's why today we're talking about how to have a real schedule. I want to give a quick shout out to those of y'all that are here. I see Sir Yasharala is on. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much, sir, for supporting the work. Did you see the link in the comments? I tried to put the link in the comments a little bit earlier to cam up. Let me make sure that you got it. If you guys saw it in the comments section, let me know that you see it. I know that it was on the screen, but let me know if you saw it in the comments section of the chat. Also, shout out to Brother Frederick. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Thank you, as always, for supporting the work. Today is going to be a very important session. Guys, we're talking about why your week falls apart by Wednesday. Let's get into the root of the problem. The root of the problem is you're not being honest about your energy, guys. This is big. Have you ever considered that the reason why you can't follow a schedule is because you're not considering your energy throughout the week? Here's what you're doing. You plan the week like you have the same energy every single day. You plan Monday like you're fresh and you got a full tank of gas. But then you plan Thursday the exact same way. Hell, you've already let go of so much energy throughout the week. So how could those 2 days be the same? And then you plan your nights like you're still sharp by 9:30 p.m. Here's what you're thinking. Man, I got to grind. I should be able to do this. I've done it before. I'm a man. I'll push. I'll wake up early. I'll stay up late. I'll do it as much as I need to do it. Guys, is that sustainable? Yeah, you might be able to work hard from sun up to sundown a few days in the week. But you know what the key to success is? Consistency. I would rather take a guy who performs consistently out of the week, even if he's not going all out, than to take a guy who goes all out 1, 2, 3 days of the week. And then for the rest of the week, which is the majority of the week, he's spent. When you hold on to this mindset that you can do whatever you need to do without focusing on your energy, you end up giving your best energy away too fast. And you don't consider how you're not showing up in other places. See, you don't even have any energy for anything outside of work. So you give your family, your body, and your faith your leftovers. No wonder you don't have time for anything else, because you blew it all at the job. You fumbled it. Why? Because the schedule did not account for your energy. Guys, I'm going to tell you something. I plan my schedule according to my energy for the day and the time. I understand my sleep chronotype, which is dolphin, means I'm not going to have a lot of great energy at the start of the morning. I'm going to feel kind of sluggish. But some people, man, they're just morning people. They could get up and get at it. But I know for me, I have to take my most important tasks of the day and I have to do them at my highest energy times. But if you've never logged your time to know, hey, when do I have the most energy in the day? You'll never know that. If you've never logged your time to see, hey, what days do I have the most energy and what days do I have the least? Well, how will you ever know what days you're supposed to be working on your biggest tasks? I'm telling you that your schedule is too flat. I'm telling you that if you would just take down this one point, that could change your life. Even before we get into anything else on this session, if you were strategic with placing the biggest tasks of your life at the right days and right times, according to your energy, you would have a totally different outcome for your success. And guys, I want to show you how to do that on today's call, okay? But when you don't account for your energy, what happens? You misuse it. And guys, our energy is precious. Time is precious. We cannot afford to waste it. If we don't change our approach by the time that Wednesday comes around, your energy is already low. So your schedule breaks down, not because you're a bad person, but because you planned your week like you're not human. Guys, I want you to type 1 if that's you. If you try to set a schedule like you're Superman or you want to be Superman, type 1 in the chat. If you set up a schedule that you can't even keep up with, type 1 in the chat. Because I've got another root problem. The fourth root problem is that you have no weekly reset and no midweek reset. Here's what you're doing. You start the week with good intentions. You say, man, you know what? This week, I'm taking over the world. I'm focused. And then life happens. And then you never take the time to perform a reset, so the week drifts. Guys, I want you to think about the cycle that I just broke down. You start the week with good intentions. You convince yourself, you know what? This week is going to be different from the last. I know things got in my way last week. Family tripping, job tripping, but I promise this week's going to be a different week. And then the week begins and life starts lifing. Life is always going to be life. You know what Mike Tyson said? Everybody got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Life is going to punch you in the mouth. You might think I got the perfect schedule, but then Monday, somebody in the family could go through an emergency. Tuesday, something can happen at the job. Wednesday, you might get into some kind of issue. Guys, I only wish the best for your life, but we have to be realistic. See, it's all of that fairy tale fantasy that's got you messed up. That's what's destroying your productivity. If you were more realistic about how life works, you could plan around it. That's how we're more strategic. The reason why your schedule breaks down having no weekly reset is because you start the week with good intentions. But my mother always told me growing up, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. You could have the greatest intentions in the world, but if you're not being realistic and planning accordingly, you're always going to fall into the trap. You start the week thinking well, then life happens, and you never stop to reevaluate where your week can actually go. And so then the week drifts. And now you're in reaction mode. And when you find yourself in this cycle, you think to yourself, man, you know what? I'll just catch up tomorrow. You know what? Today didn't go the way that I thought it would. I'll just catch up tomorrow. Man, it's the end of the week, and I really hoped I would have gotten more accomplished. I'll just fix this over the weekend. See, we all have this mentality naturally, but we got to rewire our mindset for success. Our mindset comes with a cost. What is this mindset costing us? The week becomes a slow leak. By Friday, you feel like the week done pulled you around and you never caught up. You spend the rest of the week trying to play catch up and it never happens. And what happens if you go through every week of your life like this and nothing changes? You keep living in restart mode. You keep convincing yourself, you know what? This week is going to be different until life beats you down enough until you stop saying that and you just give up. Guys, we can't have that happen. As men of order, we must wisen up. We got to put away childish things. As we mature into manhood, we got to know the most successful people in life, they're no smarter, they're no harder working. They have better tools and systems. I need you to hear me. I need you to hear me good. The most successful people in life are no harder working than you. They have a better system to navigate life. Guys, I know y'all thinking I'm just gassing you when I say this, but I'm telling you what I know. I've been a part of business masterminds. I've been a part of business groups where everybody in the room made six figures and up. And I would watch people who couldn't speak the best. They weren't the brightest, but they had a system that pushed them forward. They had a step-by-step sequence that allowed them to work smarter and not harder. Many of the hardest working people I've ever met in my life were some of the poorest people that I've ever known. Everybody got stories of growing up, and it was the mom that had worked 2 or 3 jobs. She was struggling to get by, was just trying to put food on the table. That woman wasn't rich. That woman was trying to do the best that she could for her circumstances. But I'm here to tell y'all something. When it comes to successful people, they don't measure their success by how much effort they put in. They measure their success based upon, did I take the right approach to solve the right problem? We have to think like an owner and not a worker. As workers, we've been programmed to do everything with effort, even if it doesn't get us anywhere. So I'm trying to show you that when you apply this schedule that I'm sharing with you tonight, you're not going to keep going through the same frustration every week of, man, why won't life let me win? Why won't life let me catch a big break the same way that I'm seeing all of these other people whose life blew up? They're no better than you. They just have better tools and systems, and now you're getting it. So if nothing changes and you keep your same approach, you will stay on restart mode. You won't run your week runs you. Guys, I want you to type reset if you know this happens to you. Type reset if you feel what I'm saying. Now, listen, none of these roots that I've broken down means you're weak. They mean your schedule has been built wrong. Your schedule is not built for real life. Your schedule looks sexy on paper, but it ain't real. A tight schedule with no buffers is not discipline, it's a trap. And now it's time for doctrine, guys. We got to look and see, why do we get so thrown off? These are the laws of order. I got 2 laws tonight of order that I'm going to share with y'all that will change the game for your life. Law number 1, a tight plan breaks. A tight plan breaks. I'm going to keep it real with you guys. If your plan needs a perfect day in order to work, it's not a real plan at all. Real life will crush it. If your plan needs a perfect day to work, it's not a real plan. Let me give you guys an example. You plan to leave your house at 6 a.m. to go to work, but the baby throws up at 5:55 a.m. Now what? If the whole day collapses because of one real life moment, the plan was too tight. A plan with no room is a plan that's destined to fail. Guys, we treat our schedule like the game Jenga. Have y'all played Jenga before? Here it is now. You're trying to make very delicate moves. You're trying to make moves that are extremely precise. And if anything shakes the foundation of what it is you're trying to do, everything falls apart. A lot of our schedules are that way. All it takes is one little thing to go off track, and now our day is ruined. If the whole day collapses, all because of one real life moment, that shows your plan sucked. It wasn't a good plan. Yeah, you're trying to elevate, but you got to elevate using a better plan. A plan with no room is a plan that will fail. I got a question for you. When your plan breaks, does the whole day fall apart? Leave me a comment. If when your plan breaks, does the whole day fall apart? If your whole day falls apart, type whole day. I want to see who's honest. What does the order man do instead, guys? He plans with buffers. He plans like a leader. because a leader expects real life to happen to him. I see you, Sir Yashala. Thank you for keeping it real. He said, whole day. Guys, how do ordered men solve this problem? Ordered men don't go through life like life is perfect. Ordered men, they plan for things to happen. Real leaders expect real life to happen, which brings us to law number 2. A disciplined man plans for real life, not fantasy. You see that? Us as grown men, we're not children. We're not living in la la land. A disciplined man plans for real life. Our life is not a Disney movie. That means a man who's ordered doesn't make a week that looks good on paper. He makes a week that he can actually live. Guys, he don't care about how something looks. He cares about how practical it is. How can he actually execute? Does this plan work for him? That's what matters. So, what does that look like in real life? It looks like fewer daily targets. It looks like buffers. It looks like having a weekly reset and a midweek reset. It looks like one small daily anchor that keeps him steady. I'm going to break all of this down. I'm going to give you this entire system for free just for watching this. And what's the benefit of applying this system? You stop restarting every Monday and you start stacking real wins. Not fake wins, real wins. I want you to type real if you want a real week and not a fake week. What do I mean when I say real wins? I'm talking about you accomplishing things of substance, things that will move your life forward. When I talk about a fake win, I'm talking about something that, yeah, it's on your to-do list and you can check a box, but it's not taking your life anywhere. A real thing is, hey, I'm starting on that business, I'm making progress. A fake win is, man, all right, I'm going to buy groceries. Okay, yeah, you bought groceries, you got to eat. Congratulations, kudos. It's great that you're able to have food to eat, but life is more than food, isn't it? Don't you want to accomplish more than the basics? Guys, that's what this is all about. How do we create a schedule so we can have real wins? I'm seeing in the comments, real, real, real. I'm loving it. Thank y'all for commenting. I'm seeing your comments. But now we execute. I'm going to give you guys a simple how to run your week plan. It's called the Real Week Schedule. Not perfect, real. This is for your real life. Not the fake life that you hear internet gurus talking about. I'm talking about your real life. And we're going to get through your real life with 5 steps. Step number 1, build your week with air blocks first. Before you schedule anything, put air blocks on your calendar. Uzziah, what's air blocks? Air blocks are buffer time. 15 minutes between things. 30 minutes after a heavy meeting. You're accounting for how long it takes you to drive. By you adding in these air blocks first, it stops the back-to-back stacking. Remember, the back-to-back stacking is what makes you feel so pressured That's why you can't keep up with the schedule that you're giving yourself. Every time you have one of these stacked schedules, guys, you can't keep up with it. It has it's not meant for human beings to follow. You're not a robot. You have to account for delays. So when you have these air blocks, you're giving yourself 15-minute buffers, 30-minute buffers. You're accounting for real life. You're not just Googling somebody else's schedule and trying to plug it into your life. You're making it work for you. And when you do this, here is how your life will change starting this week. When something runs longer than expected, you don't panic because now you have buffer time. Now the day might bend, but it doesn't break. See, before, when you had that jam-packed schedule, you needed that meeting to end on time because you needed to start something else the exact same minute later for that. We're adding in buffers so that way when things run late and life starts lifing, we can still accomplish things knowing how life works. Step number 2, guys, cut your daily plan to one main win and 2 small wins. Here's what you're going to do. Every day, you're going to choose one main win, the one thing that matters most, and you're going to then have 2 small wins. Quick, real, finishable. Guys, that's it. Think about what would happen if you did this consistently. I know it doesn't sound like productivity. Oh, yeah, get 50 things done in a day. That's BS. Nobody of any real success is getting 50 substantial things done in a day themselves. If somebody tells you that, they're lying. You know the reason why they're lying? Because most things of any real significance, it takes so much effort that might be the only thing that you can do in a day. It takes deep work. A lot of times you can tell if somebody doesn't have anything deep they're doing because they can do it very quickly while being distracted. They can send a message while being on social media. They can be listening to music, talking to people while writing something down. Guys, that's not progress. That's play. When you study workplace performance, the average employee who works an 8-hour shift accomplishes only 1 hour of substantial work done, even if they're focusing throughout their day. Because what are they really doing throughout the day? They're in meetings, they're having conversations, coffee talk, going out to lunch. They're busy being busy, but they're not really getting to it. So, what I want you to do is, I want you to set your day in a way where you can focus on one main win, the thing that's going to matter the most for you to accomplish that day. Make that time real where you're focused, you're locked in, tunnel vision. And then I want you to have 2 small wins after that. Let's put the first main win first. Then we could have 2 small wins, quick, real, finishable. That's it. And then I'm saying rinse and repeat. And let's see how your life changes. Guys, when you do this, do you know what changes? You getting out of the myth of the monster list. I know you think that the hardest working people who are the most successful, they've got a monster list of things to do every single day. They don't. Why do you think that the most successful people in the world have assistants? Why do you think they have teams? Why do you think companies are spending billions of dollars building robots to get a lot of work off their plate? It's not so that they'll sit up and do nothing. It's because they want the space so they could focus on their one thing. They understand that the monster list is a recipe for disaster. Because if you're doing 1,000 different things in a day, you're not actually focused on one of any substance. Guys, if you can get 1,000 things done in a day, what's the 1,000 things really? What's thing one? Okay, call to check to see if, the food at the restaurant is ready. Call to see, if your clothes are done at the cleaners. Come on, man. We got to play in the big leagues. Leave that for everyone else who's not trying to reach their peak. Men of Order is for men that are trying to reach their peak potential in life. This is for the high performers. You watching this right now, it shows that you are a high performer. You want to become the very best version of yourself. That's who I'm doing this for. So you owe it to yourself to focus on what's real. And you got to get rid of the monster list, and you got to focus on the main win. 2 small things only after that. What changes when you do this? You stop falling behind by noon because you planned a day that you can actually complete. Guys, let me know. Let me see if this is really resonating for you. I want you to leave me a comment. Tell me yes if this is true. Do you think that you can accomplish one win for the day and 2 smaller wins? Put yes in the chat. I'm noticing in the chat, people are putting yes. And you know the reason why that's so important? Because if you believe that you can do it, you're going to perform with higher confidence. Because you know that you can do it, you're going to remove all the excuses that you would have given yourself on any other day. Oh man, I could never do this. I got 50 things on my to-do list. I could never do this, so I can just give up in life. No, now you're being real with yourself. You know there are no excuses. You know that you can do it, and that's why you do it. And that alone will change your life. Now, step number 3, put an anchor at the same time every day. Guys, if you guys are getting value from this, please make sure that you're smashing that like button. It only takes 2 seconds, but it goes a very long way towards supporting this platform. I'm trying to build up men. I'm trying to help us get to the next level. Please support the work and smash the like button. Okay. Step number 3, put a daily anchor at the same time every day. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to pick one anchor that happens no matter what. Here's an example of what I mean about an anchor that happens no matter what. An example of an anchor is 20 minutes where you're planning for tomorrow. Maybe you go on a 30-minute walk. Maybe you have 15 minutes of quiet time. You're feeling overstimulated. You need peace and quiet. Lord knows, I know I need that. There's so much that I have going on during a day between working on my business, working on my church congregation, managing things within my family, let alone my personal life. I need time just to give myself quiet. You got to have anchors in your life. And here's the reason why. It replaces the feeling, my life is all over the place. My life is in shambles. My days are so random. When you feel like that, that alone can sabotage your success. See, when we talk about putting a daily anchor, we're talking about having A daily routine that you can apply at the same time every day. Same time, same place. It takes away this feeling that you don't have control over your own life. This is very important. And what happens is when you start to apply this to your life, even when life feels like a mess, you still have confidence because you can see continuity. Even if you go through days where things feel up and down, you still have one stable point, and it keeps you from sliding. What do I mean when I say sliding with throughout your week? When your day goes sideways, you still have one thing that keeps you steady. You still have one thing that keeps you on track. This one thing stops you from saying, forget it, man. It just didn't work out. And then that's when the whole day turns into a free for all. Can y'all relate? Have y'all ever been through days where you didn't have any kind of continuity? You got pushed and pulled all over the place. And because you got pushed and pulled all over, you thought, man, I'm going to just give up. This day is not a win. And the whole day lost its structure. By you having this in place, this daily anchor, it keeps your life on track. Let's talk about this, guys. Let's talk about step 4. Add a Wednesday reset. This is the move that solves your problem. This is what's going to give you a schedule that will work for your life. Adding a Wednesday reset. This only takes 15 minutes. On Wednesday, you do a 15-minute reset. When you do this 15-minute reset, guys, you're going to look at 3 things. What got done, what got delayed, and what must still happen. And then you're going to adjust the rest of the week. See, the reason why this Wednesday reset is so powerful is because under this system, you don't act like Monday's plan still fits, because it doesn't. When you started the week, remember, you went into the week with the best of intentions, and then real life happened. So when you didn't have a midweek reset, by the time you got to Wednesday, you already felt discouraged because your week was off course. And then you said, man, well, you know what? I guess this week just isn't going to work for me. Now you're doing something to stop the leak. Now you're sitting down in the middle of the week and you're making the right adjustments. Guys, this is no different than what athletes do. Athletes, they go into their game with a game plan. And then once they see what's happening, they make adjustments. Okay, timeout. We got to go back to the bench. We got to run a different play. All right, we doing this. Bam. Now we're putting points on the board. That's what you're doing with your life. When Wednesday comes, you're going to take a timeout just for 15 minutes, not the entire day. And you're going to evaluate how many points you were able to put on the board thus far. Is this play working effectively? All right, so for the rest of the week, we got to run a different play. What did we get done? What got delayed? What must still happen? And then you adjust the rest of the week so that the rest of the week actually fits you. When you do this, it's going to replace the Wednesday crash. It replaces the moment on Wednesday when you realize that you're behind on your schedule and you stop following your plan. It ensures that the rest of your week doesn't turn into reactions. Guys, you got to understand the cycle. By the time the middle of the week runs around, you're going to feel like the week is already lost. When you feel like the week is already lost, you become more discouraged to follow your plan. Once you stop following your plan, now life wins. Now the week is taking control of you. This makes sure that you're always taking control of your week. What changes in your life when you do this, guys? Your Wednesdays become a steering wheel for your life. Now you're no longer going through the Wednesday wreck because you stop pretending that the Monday plan still fits, and now you're re-aiming the week while there's still time instead of crashing into Friday behind and feeling angry. I want you to type reset if you need that system in your life. Let's go into step 5, guys. The weekly reset. What are we doing here? You're picking a day and time, whether it's Sunday night or Monday morning. But you're working on this weekly reset the same time every week. In that reset, you're doing 4 things. First, you're listing all of your fixed commitments, whether that means your work shifts, whenever you go to church, school, and your appointments. Just list all of your commitments. Then you're going to put in air blocks. Remember what the air blocks are? Buffers. You're not going to keep making the same mistakes where you stack your schedule so heavy and then everything falls apart. Now that you got your commitments on there, now we're going to start adding breathing room into your schedule. And then we're going to choose your main wins for the week. 3 to 5, not 20. And we're going to place them on your calendar with room around them. We're going to give your main wins room to breathe. So that way, even if life gets in the way, you're still able to navigate effectively. What does this replace, guys? It replaces you winging it throughout the day. It replaces you freestyling your life the minute that your jam-packed schedule stops working. This is the reason why your week falls apart by Wednesday, guys, having a jam-packed schedule and you're not able to keep up with it. It stops you winging it so you don't spend your mornings guessing, reacting, putting out fires. Now you're starting the day already aimed at what matters most. When you plug this system into your life, what's going to change? You stop waking up guessing, and now you can get straight to it. Listen, guys, this plan isn't sexy. This is not internet guru hype. This is a real life formula to get real results. And real is going to keep you consistent. So I'm seeing I got brothers in the chat. Shout out to Awesome. I see you again, my brother. Good to see you as always. He said, great information, comrade. Teach. Peace to the chat as well. Listen, we're about to get into it. We're about to talk about this. Now I want to move into live conversations because this is where men actually change. Not from hearing me talk, but from seeing their own life clearly. So again, if you want me to help you rebuild your schedule so it doesn't break by Wednesday, I want y'all to click the link, y'all. Make sure you have your camera on. Sit somewhere quiet. Make sure that YouTube is off in the background so we don't hear an echo. I'm putting the link on the screen. I'm putting it in the comments. And we're about to get this thing started, guys. These are things that I would usually help people with sitting down, and people would typically pay. But because you're on this live, I'm working through all of this with you for free. So shout out to Sir Yasharala. He's in the house. Welcome back, sir. It's good to see you.
Shalom, Chief Elder. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. A lot better today.
Yes, sir. Why is that?
Everything you said, it happened to me this week. Sunday. It
What
happened to me.
happened?
The schedule got messed up and I cussed everybody out. Because it knocked me off my whole. And since you said it, now I can get back in the track. Because it knocked me off. It pissed me off. You know what I mean? But I wasn't thinking about some things can happen like that. I do know, but not like that. That was a total catastrophe. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I'm glad that you got some value from today's session, sir. I'm glad to know that it's real for you. And you know what? Sessions like this, these are just very real sessions because this is what we go through in our real life. This is what stops us from being able to make the progress that we want to make. So, as always, let's kick this thing off. Please let the people know your name and where you're calling from.
So yeah, Sharala, I'm calling from Savannah. Back at home again tonight, and everything else.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right,
Savannah,
sir.
Georgia. So
Shout out
Savannah,
to
Georgia.
Savannah, Georgia. All right, so if you could, in one sentence, what's happening with your schedule by Sunday? Excuse me, by Wednesday. By the time that you get to the middle of your week, what's happening?
Well, I just started doing things like you said, the calendar, which is very helpful. I'm telling you right now. When you show me that, and you said do it every day, 15 minutes, and you're correct. I can see more. Instead of time go to sleep, I wake up, I don't remember what I did.
Right.
But Sunday messed me up, messed my whole week up. I pissed off everybody. I don't want to talk to nobody. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because I had a load to do. I went down to Florida, pick it up, come back, find it was a convention show. I'm there. I don't leave at 8 o'clock that night.
Mm,
They compensate me for, but it was the point because I set some up for that evening to go look at some houses.
right.
And they messed me up for the whole week. I had to cancel that and get it rescheduled. It pissed me off,
So tell me more about how it threw off your whole week because I'm hearing that you had to cancel some things, but I want you to really unpack that for me. In what ways did it mess up your whole week?
because my time is very limited when I'm out here. During the week I get back at night. I just got back when I got on. Just got back. You know what I mean? So I was trying to schedule for Sunday because we have the Sabbath on the Sabbath, so I
Hmm.
can't do anything. So so I try to schedule for that Sunday, and so I can get that at least that accomplished. Because like I told you before, now I'm taking my Fridays off where I can do more things. You know what I mean?
Yes,
So I can
sir.
do Sunday. I can take care of the rest Friday what I need to do and stuff like that for follow
Y-
ups.
yes, sir. So let me ask you this: based upon your schedule, do you have any buffers in place? Because it sounds like you might need more buffers than the average person. For the average person, okay, they go to work and maybe a meeting ran a little bit long, and yeah, they're knocked, off of their schedule for maybe 10, 15 minutes. But for someone like yourself, you could be traveling to a whole different state.
Right.
And if there's any kind of delay there, it could throw you off for a longer period of time. So
Correct.
let me ask you, do you have buffers for your life circumstances?
No, I don't have no buffers at all.
Yes,
I
sir.
was I was just doing things because back in the day it's different. I was just doing things, be doing it. And trucking, I know trucking back in my hand. That is natural. But
Hmm.
I didn't put buffer zones still in place at all. Which I can buffer the time of getting there. I can buffer the weight I'm pulling. I can buffer what destination I'm going. I can do that all in my head like that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because we didn't have GPSs back in the day. All we had was your map, and every city had a state map. So you had to go by that. We didn't have the new stuff on. No, no, no. So that came in my brain every day.
Yeah.
I mean, but far as me doing other things, I didn't have no buffer zones, like you said, because I had a lot of things before. I had investors before, real estate investor before. I had buyer before. I was doing before also on the side, but I didn't have no buffer zone and time to set for me.
I'm glad that you brought this out, sir. And I'm hoping that you and everyone else is catching it because the lack of buffers is really speaking to a big part of the reason why you feel the way that you feel. Remember, you said, my schedule got thrown off and it pissed me off. A part of the reason why it pissed you off is because you don't have any buffers.
Right.
Now, see, for us to be productive with it, we know there are two things, right? Okay, so one part of it is what's happening on the outside, but another part of it is what's happening on the inside. We have a certain pressure that's a part of our schedule where if one thing happens, we will be upset because now our whole schedule is thrown off.
Right.
This goes back to what I was saying. Whenever you have a jam-packed schedule, all it takes really is one event for everything to break down. Hence the reason you're saying what happened on Sunday threw your entire week off. And I just been sitting here like, man, what's going on? I'm like, what happened on Sunday? Tell me about it.
Right.
How
Right.
did what happened on Sunday mess up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? And now I understand. It's because you are an ordered man, but you're so ordered to the point where, hey, you've got an entire week planned out. And because there are not buffers for your circumstances, now one thing can throw the whole week off. And this is something that I need you and everybody else online watching to see. This is not just you. This happens to all of us. If we don't have the right buffers in place, I mean, it can impact us for a really long time. And so tell me about what kind of adjustments you think that you should make, knowing that this can happen at times in trucking. What are the type of buffers that will work better for you to still keep your week intact?
Since you said it, I won't schedule because I get my assignments the day before. So now I know I can go and adjust it for that particular week if something comes up. But
Yeah,
I won't schedule things that's too far away, or you know what I mean, stuff like that, or if it's live a show, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. Because I know it's a show at all. If I knew it's a show, I know shows happen like that. You know what I mean? But I'll be more aware now to make sure that you know what, that's I'm going too far away from the house. I better not do that. I'll just schedule for that Friday, like you said, the priority things, because I'm taking a day off Friday.
absolutely. I really like that you said that, sir, because it reminds me of what we talked about in our last session. On our last session, I gave the audience something called a fireproof plan.
Mhm.
It's a plan to make sure that you're able to protect your week.
Got you.
And in that fireproof plan, one of the things that I talked about was decision rules. You need decision rules to determine what your ideal week looks like, especially when it comes to you doing your business. So, to break this down, I heard you just say one of the adjustments that I'm going to make to give me better progress for my week is I'm going to think more about some of like my runs in advance,
Right.
right? And
Yes.
instead of taking some of them on like the day before and committing to that, now I'm going to plan it a little bit farther out. What you're doing there is you're making a decision rule. You're going to impose a rule to say, okay, I'm only going to take these orders this far out in advance. If it's anywhere closer to that, I'm not going to take it. And then once we set that standard, now that's going to give us more clarity throughout the week. It's going to make our week more efficient because once we set that standard in place, we don't have to keep going from week to week and order to order. Should I take this? Should I take that? No, we're not wasting our brain power on that because the standard's already in place. And that same brain power that you would have had going towards making that decision over and over again, you're now using that towards the business that you want to build. You're using that time and energy towards the transition that you want to make for your career. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What are your thoughts on that?
Great. That's you absolutely correct. Because earlier you was talking, I said he's talking about me this week. Because I cuss everybody. I cuss the dot people out. I cuss the job out when they call me. I won't hear nobody. You know what I mean? I'm hungry. I ain't get to take a bath. You know what I mean? It's hot
You
down
was
the
going through
road.
it.
Right. The nearest eating place is 4 or 5 miles away, middle of nowhere. I was like, you know. So I had to go back and apologize to everybody. I got cooled down. Hey, I'm sorry, man. I was just one of those days.
Hey, and we all have them. But you know what? Not everybody watching this video can cuss people out. Because if they cuss people out of their job, they getting fired. And so we got to make sure that we got these
Right.
buffers in place
Right.
to make sure whether you can cuss out a boss or not,
Right.
you're still able to navigate successfully. Hey, man, always a pleasure, sir. I'm happy to know that many of the things that we've discussed from prior sessions are working out well for you. And I'm very confident that if you apply, what we went over today with that
Yes, sir.
real week schedule,
Yes, sir.
that will give you even more progress because instead of hoping for the perfect week, we're taking life by its reality and we're building enough into the week so that even if the unexpected happens, we're still able to make things work.
Roger that, sir.
Always a pleasure, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right, now, guys, did you see what happened there? I really want to talk to y'all in the chat. Did you see how, based upon one event, one situation, it threw off his entire schedule? Have you ever experienced that? Now, I know we could look at the job and we could place a lot of blame, and some of it may be true, but I hope I unlock something for you guys on tonight's session. Some of that is on us. Why? Because we don't have buffers. I could have asked Sir Yasharala, hey, this happened. Do you think situations like this could happen at the job? He might have said yes. And so I'm just wanting y'all to start preparing for these real situations rather than what we hope will happen. Because guess what? Think about it. Sometimes life will deal us cards better than what we expect. So even if we have a better week and life doesn't get in the way as much, now you have extra time. It's a win-win, guys. When you practice the system that I've given to you today, not only are you able to navigate when life gets in the way, now even on better weeks, you're still able to make progress and you have extra time to spend with your family, extra time to make more progress, extra time for yourself to grow. That's why this is so important. All right, we got my brother Frederick in the house. Good to see you, sir.
Yeah, shalom, sir.
Shalom to you. If you wouldn't mind, please let the people know your name and where you're calling from.
Friedrich, calling from Florida.
Perfect. Always a pleasure.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, in one sentence, what's happening with your schedule by Wednesday? By the time you get to the middle of the week, how are things looking?
By Wednesday, sometime, well, majority of the time, I think falling behind.
Okay. Falling behind.
In things, yeah.
Okay. Now, tell me why you feel like things are falling behind by the middle of the week.
I think I stack up everything in one list. I think my schedule be too tight, and like you're saying, and I'll just go at it. You know what I'm saying? Non-stop. You know, like I'm very energized, and I'll just go at it. And
Wow.
things happen, and like I said, it's too tight. It's too tight, and no buffer rooms, and I end up falling behind on things.
I love what you just said. It's too tight. There's no buffer room, and things start falling behind.
Yeah.
Brother Frederick, I want to celebrate you, man, because what you just said, that's the story for everybody. You're just the person that's getting on and being truthful about it. And
Okay.
that's why you're able to make your progress from session to session. As you get on the sessions, you're able to take the systems, plug them in, and move forward. And so I want to ask you this. After today's conversation, what do you want to walk away with? What would make this conversation a win for you?
Um, Pretty much helped me schedule things better. Like I said, I'm getting much better at it. Thanks to your sessions. I'm plugging in things to the busy day progress. I'm saying that's been helping a lot also.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Shout out you mentioned the that busy day system that I did a few sessions back. How has
Right.
that been helping you?
Oh, it's been helping nicely. Nicely.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay. So tell me a little bit about the progress that you have made and tell me where you're still kind of getting hung up. How did that busy day system that I gave you helped and where you still kind of getting caught up to the point where things are falling apart by the middle of the week?
I think well, what's helping is it helps me because like I said, I stack up my schedule. Now the busy day progress where you say pick three my top three outcomes,
Mhm.
and then I'll focus on those things, and then I'll have the two separate two sets split the list into two separate lists, A and
Yeah.
B lists. I mean, I'll focus on my important list would be the A list, and then with the time left, and I'll focus on my maintenance list. So that's been
Yes, sir.
working. Where I'm falling behind still, I would say is when like I said, when life happened. You know what I'm saying? Because I'll plan for a perfect day. You know, when we start Monday, start very nicely, and things just lining up, and then all of a sudden, when you think you're doing good, tools start breaking, um, and it feels like it feels like your day messed up, or your week, the rest of the week messed up. But like I said, I'm learning. It happened, and as it happens, sometimes when it happens, I realize it's a good thing it happened. It helped me. It gave me that buffer room to
Mhm.
uh, actually double check on my work. You know what I'm saying? I find mistake that I probably wouldn't have found.
Right.
That didn't happen. So
So let me recap this. So you're saying that you have applied the busy day progress system that I broke down in one of the prior sessions,
yes, sir.
and that has helped you accomplish some of your bigger wins for the week.
Hmm.
It's allowed you to make progress by focusing on progress,
Right.
distinguishing it from just maintenance tasks, things that just keep you busy.
Hmm.
And overall, you feel a sense of progress in your life, but you're getting slowed down by some of the delays. You're trying to get after it, things pop up, and now you're trying to get a handle on that. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So If you could, Brother Frederick, walk me through where your biggest delays typically come from. First, what are you delayed the most with? Are we talking about delays that happen with work? Are we talking about family needs? Are we talking about just personal life? What's causing you the most delays?
The most delays, I would say, it kind of both. As far as work delays and family delays, like I was saying, when life happen, when things happen, and it backed me up a little bit. But then again, like I say, learning. Um, I'm learning to reset. In other words, I'm learning to reset, and but I would say family delays, things I planned for the family, and having to reschedule or putting it back.
Okay, so you unlocked something right there. You said that delays come with the family because you have things scheduled, but then it ends up having to get postponed,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
So does it have to get postponed because of work related tasks or what's causing it to get postponed?
yeah, because of work related.
Okay. So
Yes.
what's making your work shifts go longer? Is it because of some of the equipment breaking down that you mentioned earlier or just, working on maybe different properties for different clients longer than expected?
Yeah, both. I say both because
Both.
yeah, mainly a lot of time, as far as work goes, it happened to end up working longer than expected. In other words,
N- Now, why do you think you're working longer than expected usually?
I think so, a lot of time I think overlook the job. You know, that when it I think it's gonna be a quick job, but it ended up being longer.
Wow. That's a big breakthrough right there, Brother Frederick. So I want to keep us right there. I believe the reason why you're having the delays that you're having is because you don't have the right systems in place to run your business efficiently. And this is very important because you might be very effective in your business, but you may not be the most efficient. What do I mean? Okay, if you're being very effective in your business, you know how to do your job. You're skilled and you can do your job well. But the problem is, in order to take your business to the next level, you have to be as efficient as you are effective. Efficient meaning, okay, we need to really get down to a science how long it's going to take to get jobs done. One thing that always strikes me about Amazon is they have a system to know how long it should take their delivery drivers to drop off a package. Have you ever noticed that sometimes when an Amazon delivery driver uh, drops off a package, they go and run back to the car?
Right, right.
Is because they got a system in place.
Mhm,
They know, hey, we're on a schedule. It should take this long to get the job done, and we got to stay on the rails.
mhm.
And so, what I want you to do, Brother Frederic, is I want you to really highlight the types of work that you do. When I'm saying types of work, I'm talking about the types of jobs. For example, maybe you do like small, medium, big jobs. I don't know how you structure it, but could you kind of give me a little bit of insight? Do you typically work in different like different size homes where there's different sizes of land? Some jobs might be smaller than others. Kind of break down the different types of jobs that you do.
Right. There's different jobs. There's regular maintenance, and then you got sometimes I get trimming different size shrubs trimming. There's some 4 feet, 6 feet I'm saying 3 feet. You got big trees, trimming big trees, cutting down big trees. There's different type mulching. The different depending on the size of flower beds, mulching. I've done pavers.
Yes, sir.
It all depends on the type of the work.
Yes, sir. So here's what I want you to do. One is I want you to start developing systems for each of the jobs. You should be able to know for each job how long it's going to take you to get the job done. Now, when I'm saying you should know how long it should take you to get the job done, I'm not talking about in your head or having an estimate. I'm saying that we're going to create a system where for every job, we are literally going to list how long the job takes, what all goes into getting that job done, and then we're going to time it. And this should also include travel time because, based upon what you told me from previous sessions, a lot of your time gets spent just on the road.
On the road, yeah.
And so, what I want you to do is, I want you to put systems in place to understand your drive time as well as your work time. So, for example, how long does it take you typically to commute from one location to another to do a job? How long does it take you to get your equipment out once you're there? And how long does it take you to put your equipment back up? How long does it take you to do the actual job? If you're doing multiple services for one job, how long does each service take? What I want us to do, Brother Frederick, is I want us to be able to get down this time system. And then I want you to start actually timing yourself so that at the end of every service, you can see whether or not you met that time. If I was there with you when you went on these jobs, Brother Frederick, I would have a notebook and it would be full of like checklists, and it would list the job, all the services, the expected time of completion. And so we're putting it down. Hey, what time did I arrive? What time did I leave? How long did it take? And then we're going to start tracking how long it actually took you to get everything done versus the time that you estimated. And then whatever the difference is, I would start to document the lessons about why it took a longer or shorter time. So here's what's going to happen. Once you go through this exercise, that's going to create a knowledge library for your business that we're going to take to create better buffers. Because what I'm saying is, based upon everything that I'm hearing you say, if it's taking you longer to get to your family than expected, that's because the jobs are taking longer than expected. If the jobs are taking longer than expected, it means there are times where we're underestimating the job and everything that's associated with it. So once we start documenting how these jobs are being performed within a certain time frame, that's going to give us better intel to know how long each job actually takes. Once we know better how long each job actually takes, we're going to set up buffers so that we can still do the job effectively without underestimating how long it takes so the rest of your schedule doesn't get thrown off. You get what I'm saying?
Yes,
So
sir.
what I'm saying is I would rather do 5 jobs in a day that are well timed than 7 jobs and we feel like we're not in control of our schedule. If you do those 5 jobs well, that's going to add more quality to your business to where we don't have to uh, get more customers. We just need to get the right customer, and then we can offer a more competitive price.
Mhm.
And so, again, we just need to systematize your business. Right now, from
Right.
what I'm gathering, you're probably just hustling your way through your business. Am I right?
Pretty
You you
much.
you probably know that you can do the job.
Hmm.
You're going to different customers, but because you don't have a system to really uh, analyze how efficiently you're getting through the jobs, is causing some problems. Now,
Hmm.
the next thing that I want to bring to you, and I'll, kind of park it here, is we got to make sure that we have some redundancy and backup plans for your jobs. So remember, thing one was my weeks are falling apart because I'm underestimating how long the jobs take. When I underestimate how long the jobs take, it throws my schedule off and I end up having to reschedule things with my family. I just gave you a system that you can use to solve that problem.
Hmm.
For the second piece, I also heard you say, hey, you know what? I'm doing these different jobs, but I'm not always accounting for breakdowns of my equipment. So,
Hmm.
what I want us to do is, I want us to have now another system, and it could be like a log, it can be some kind of document that just takes note of what equipment breaks down and how often. Because what
Hmm.
I want to do is, I want to create ideal circumstances for you to where even if something breaks down, you have a backup item of that if possible. That will allow you to get more work done without being stalled. Now, every now and then, you might have something that breaks down and you don't have a backup. It happens. But if we can put together a plan to reduce that from happening, I would imagine that you could probably get more work done in a shorter amount of time. Would you agree?
Right. Correct.
So, yeah, let's just put that list together. Let's identify what breaks down, how often does it break down, what is the price of the equipment, because then from there, we can do an analysis to say, okay, hey, can I afford to get another one of these items? Can I get it as a backup? The equipment that I'm using, is it sufficient for the caliber of business that I'm doing? You see what I'm saying? Like, you
Hmm.
some guys may have equipment that breaks down a lot because they don't have better equipment that they really need to do the job that is required of them. And
Hmm.
so I just want us to start putting this on paper so that way we can start to have meetings and see, okay, which items can we buy to reduce the breakdowns? And then what are going to be a part of our business investments? Yeah, we have this kind of equipment right now and we're surviving with this. But if we could afford to get this other kind of equipment, it would really take us to the next level. I remember the first person that I had hired to cut my yard only had a lawnmower. And he realized, hey, I'm not really going to be able to cut this yard consistently unless I have a tractor. So, as a business owner, you got to be able to evaluate and see, okay, where am I now? And where do I want to be? That applies
Hmm.
to all of us. It
Right.
doesn't mean that the business is shut down, but it does mean that we need to put a plan in place to see how we can keep progressing, because this that I'm breaking down to you right now, brother Frederick, this is going to go as a part of your progress list. These systems that you're going to start creating, is going to help you make progress in the business. So that way, once you have these systems down and use it effectively, that's going to eventually become your new standard of maintenance. You're going to have the things that you need, and you're going to have a better standard in place to maintain. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Is that valuable for you?
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. Definitely.
Okay. So what I want us to do going forward is I want you to try to work on those two systems that I just gave you today. If you
Okay.
need any help, let's talk about it on the next session. Go as
Okay.
far as you can from this call, start to plug it in, and I want to hear more about the results of you timing your jobs as well as you identifying, like your breakdown of equipment. I want to talk about that on some of the upcoming sessions, and then we can talk about how we can streamline from there.
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
Always a pleasure, sir. I really appreciate you for supporting the platform.
Appreciate your time.
Guys, did you hear everything that we went over there? Guys, I never want you to watch these sessions and think, oh man, Uzziah is just talking to one person. This doesn't apply to me. I promise it does. I promise there's probably some system that you're missing that would take your life to the next level. Notice what I told Frederick. I told him the problem is not you're not doing a good job. I'm not convinced that his business problem is a lack of skill. In fact, I think the problem might be he's leaning on his skills so much that it's coming at the expense of having the systems in place. Just because you know how to cut yards, you want to still add in these systems so that way you can really have down to a science how long it takes to do every job. Because if we know how long it takes to do every job, we may be able to get more jobs done. Or on the flip side, if we see that some jobs take a really long time, but the money doesn't justify it, guess what I might say? Hey, you know what? Some of these jobs, we should cut those out of your business altogether. Did you notice that you will actually make about the same amount of money doing this job over here, but it takes you half the time? Why not find more customers where you do that job and that alone will make you more money? It's not always about working harder, guys. It's about working smarter. So for all of you, here's the 7-day assignment to make sure that you're able to make progress. I want you to have one main win and 2 small wins every day. I want you to put a 15-minute buffer between your biggest blocks of time throughout the day. Give yourself some wiggle room. And then I want you to have a Wednesday reset for 15 minutes. Remember, the Wednesday reset is when you're in the middle of the game, you're calling a timeout, and now you're making adjustments so that you can finish the week off strong. And then, guys, I want you to do your weekly reset before the next week starts, whether it's on Sunday night, whether it's on Monday morning. I want you guys to do your weekly reset to make sure that you've identified what are going to be your weekly wins, making sure that you have the big things listed on calendar, guys. If it's not on the calendar, it doesn't exist. We got to stop winging it through our lives. We got to put it on paper, write the vision, put it on tables, and keep it simple. Remember, guys, the goal is not a perfect week. The goal is a week that you can actually keep. It's about you having the ability to actually do this in real life, not just on paper. All right? And I want receipts, guys. In 7 days from now, I want you to come back into the comments section of this video. I want you to tell me, I did my Wednesday reset. I used buffers. Those buffers are very big. Did you notice how every time I talked to one of the guys on tonight's call, they always said, I'm making progress, but one of the things that I'm missing is buffers. That will change the game. Add buffers to your life. I want you to come back in 7 days after doing this, and I want you to leave a comment letting me know I did my Wednesday reset. I used the buffers. I kept my daily plan smaller. Even if you only did it 3 out of 7 days, guys, I want you to say that, because we build trust by telling the truth. Progress over perfection. Type proof in the comments right now if you're coming back with proof. If you want to make change in your life and add progress, don't just watch Sir Yasharala make progress in his life. You make progress. Don't just watch Frederick make progress. You change the game. Guys, you got access to the same 24 hours. You got access to the same system. Type proof if you're coming back with proof. Now, I'm going to end with this. A disciplined leader is someone people can count on, not because he talks a big talk, but because his life is steady. He's consistent. What he does is what he said he would do. And that's why people trust him. Guys, the way that you run your week decides who gets the best of you. And I want you to remember, a man who puts breaks in his week is not a weak man. He's a wise man. He's a real leader. I'm proud of all of the men who are getting on these calls and are willing to face this head on, not with talk, but with action. Guys, the next session is going to be this Thursday, February 26th at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Be here and come with proof. You know I got a system ready to change the game for your life. In minute order, we don't just learn, guys. We move forward. Thank you so much to everyone who supported the broadcast. Thank you so much, Sir Yasharala, for the $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Brother Frederick, for the $10 super chat. Thank you to everyone who supports the work. If you've not yet done so, please smash that like button. It's totally free, but it tells YouTube to send this message to as many men as possible. If you got a lot of value from this talk, please make sure, guys, that you donate. Give a super chat. If you're live, all you got to do is tap that dollar icon below the chat, and it keeps the platform going. Even if you watch these sessions after the live stream is over, you can still donate. All you got to do is hit the thanks button under the video, and that will show love as well. Guys, thank you. I love you. Let's continue to grow. Until next time, walk in order, brothers. Peace.